This week on CBCP News Weekend Report, Bishop Pabillo calls for independent probe of the Negros killings. Bishop Alminaza urges a halt in the red tagging of the clergy and other divisive moves. ACN cries persecution over the sedition cases filed against clergymen. Pope Francis calls war a loss of all humanity. Ilo-ilo to host second Youcat Congress. This is Nico Balbidino for CBCP News Weekend Report. Auxiliary Bishop Roderick Pabillo on Monday called for an independent investigation into the spate of killings in the Central Philippines. In a CBCP News report, Pabillo said that a probe into the killings cannot be left to the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines, for they have been implicated in the issue. 15 civilians were killed by alleged vigilantes in the province last month, following the July 18 ambush of 4 cops by the communist rebels. On March 30, at least 14 suspected rebels were killed in a supposed clash with security forces, but human rights activists have claimed that those who died were actually farmers. Pabillo then renewed his call for the end of what he dubbed as a bloodbath in the region. In line with this, Bishop Gerardo Alminaza of San Carlos has expressed sadness following the red tagging of clergy members, the proposed restoration of the anti-subversion law and the death penalty, the accusations against the youth activist organizations, and the under-prioritization of the Negros killings investigation. In a document released by the diocese, he called onto the Philippine National Police to prioritize addressing the unsolved killings and the violence happening in the country. Alminaza said that instead of focusing on building controversial publicity, this is an opportune moment for the PNP to bring back the trust of the public by investigating the killings, pursuing the criminals, and ending any act of participatory crimes, thus ending the climate of fear and violence. The bishop then called onto the senators and other elected officials to push for a legislation that will pursue social justice, urging them to refrain from divisive moves such as the red tagging of bishops, priests, and other members of the civil society. Still on the clergy, the Philippine Office of the Papal Charity Aid to the Church in Need has decried as persecution the criminal charges filed against some bishops and priests. In a CBCP News report, the Vatican-recognized organization Aid to the Church in Need said that the charges filed against the clergymen constitute persecution of the Church. ACN Philippines National Director Jonathan Luciano then added that the charges were devoid of truth and justice, decency and respect for their human dignity. As a group that helps persecuted Christians, Luciano said that they are saddened over the baseless accusations against the church leaders. Among those accused are Archbishop Socrates Villegas, Bishops Pablo Virgilio David, Honesto Ongtioco, and Teodoro Bacani, 3 priests, and several government critics. Archbishop Villegas has been serving as the president of the ACN Philippines since the office was opened in Manila in 2016. In Vatican, Pope Francis marked the 70th anniversary of the Geneva Conventions with a message urging the protection of life and human dignity in armed conflicts. After his Angelus prayer last August 11, Pope Francis reminded the faithful that war and terrorism are always a serious loss for all humanity. Pope Francis then urged the particular importance of protecting unarmed populations and civil structures today, especially hospitals, schools, places of worship, and refugee camps. Last month, the Pope spoke out after an airstrike hit a migrant detention center amid the armed conflict in Libya, killing more than 50 people. He said that such serious facts cannot be tolerated by the international community. Back in the Philippines, an international conference of young Catholics will take place in Ilo-ilo City to explore new ways of evangelization. Hundreds of young missionaries from different countries are expected to attend the second International Youcat Congress at the Ilo-ilo Convention Center on November 7 to November 10. Organized by the Youcat Philippines, the Congress is their response to the Church's call for the new evangelization in the Year of the Youth. Youcat is a youthful version of the Catechism of the Catholic Church, released in different languages in 2011. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of Manila invites lay organizations, youth ministers, catechetical directors, and different religious congregations to join the event. For more news and updates, visit cbcpnews.net and follow our social media accounts. This has been Nico Balbidina for CBCP News Weekend Report.